Listen, well, then there was three. Listen,
Mario that.
I don't know. He was in when we went into the portal. Oh, listen, I ain't got time to start off slow. I'm going to give it to you raw from the get go.
I
Listen,
like
welcome
it.
to another episode of the Black Super Friends podcast. We are live on this beautiful Monday night. It is called Monday Night Raw because of one of our cast members, Chris Leo, and then there was four. He's back.
Okay, there we go.
All right.
They got new equipment, man. That's what they say in the different kind of bathrooms. New equipment.
Okay. Well, listen, guys, I want to get right into it off the bat. I ain't got a lot of time to waste. We may have some guests tonight. The doctors from the Chambers talk show may drop in for a visit. So I'm going to skip around the topics. But I'm going to introduce my cast formally. Some of them are best friends, some of them I don't really know. Because that damn Zay, the international ladies man who gave himself that name, is the first person who I'll introduce on this show tonight. Hey, Zay.
What's going on, my brother? How you doing today? How y'all doing today, my guys?
Yeah.
It's Monday, man. We alive. Ain't no
Just so
football for you, though.
Listen, just so y'all know,
No, hold up. It ain't no football for Chris.
Oh, he on the couch with the rest.
Oh, damn. I was looking for the symbols. Chris, come on, man. You had all the football jeers and jingles for us for the past few weeks. I thought you had something creative for us tonight.
Nah, Zay, I felt tonight. Look, I think I probably overdid it last week with the whole jacket and stuff like that. So I felt like tonight I just be humble. I accept my loss in with pride. And I thought tonight just don't overdo it, just subtle, subtle. Then I thought to myself, man, fuck that shit, man. Fuck that shit, man. It's $49 all day, baby. Let's go. Let's go. I'm glad you're here tonight and we still rocking and rolling, baby. Let's go. Let's go. $49.
I had faith in you. I knew you had something up your sleeve.
Yeah, well, they needed you the other night. That's for dang sure. So, listen, you are now on the couch with us. It's a sectional. The 49ers are on the couch with the rest of us. Next up, my man who went 2 weeks ago, Super Mario Sr., the avid Dallas Cowboy fan. He talks to Jerry Jones often, but I don't think Jerry Jones listens.
Hey, one thing for sure, I had posted, he is cleaning up what he messed up. He is getting rid of all of our bad trash. We fired 9 coaches in 2 days, in 26 hours. So I'm looking like it's going to be a new year for me. I don't know how that new year is going to be, but because we got a hard schedule next year. But we play everybody on this screen. So look forward to Black Super Friends this year, having many jokes and laughter this year because Dallas plays every team on this screen.
Well, let me go right off the bat and give you a recap. This weekend, the San Francisco 49ers gave us a disappointing game. They lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, who will now proceed to the NFL Super Bowl to face the Kansas City Chiefs that is led by Patrick Mahomes. So for the first time in history, allegedly, there are 2 black quarterbacks that will be facing off in the Super Bowl this year. I'm pretty sure they didn't even think about that happening. If they did, they probably did some things to make sure Cincinnati did better because personally, I just thought they got screwed out of some bad calls yesterday. But neither here nor there. I'm actually going to put my prediction in. Even though I think they're going to win anyway, I'm going to support Jalen Hurts for 2 reasons. One, he has an amazing story that the media just seems to ignore because it doesn't fit the stereotype of a kid coming from a broken home, somebody's on crack, abused, beaten, orphaned, raised by another family. Second, I never forgot Patrick Mahomes. He did not say, but he was on that line when he defended George Zimmerman through some tweets that he would later delete. So guess what? I'm petty like that. So I'm going to go with Philadelphia Eagles despite my avid hate for the Philadelphia nation. I don't like Philadelphia. I don't like the Eagles. I don't like the Sixers. I don't like the residents. I don't like nothing about Philadelphia. So I'm going with Philadelphia because I hate Kansas City more. Because I don't want people to keep saying Mahomes is the baby goat. He won one Super Bowl. Tom Brady is an angelic god of football. So enough of my rant. I'm going to go to the person who shouldn't have much to say, Zay, the Dolphins fan.
Turn your mic on. You are a professional.
You won't be at the Super Bowl no time soon.
That's all right. You gonna be there with a Philly cheesesteak. That's the only thing about Philly that you like. But I'm gonna go with the Eagles, Chris. I'm sorry. That's after that shellacking that they put on y'all. I think that they are running a high on energy, and I just think that my homeboy gonna run out just because they just barely got by Joe Burrow. So we will see, but I think that the Eagles gonna fly high again this year. Hardy, give me some stats.
Before we go to the 49ers.
Well, it's statistically the Eagles should definitely win. Let's get that straight. So that's not even close. I know, but statistically, I never thought I seen Patrick Mahomes get in there because all the adversity he had. Then seeing those last two games, and his team is not really that good this year. He don't really have no wide receivers. His running backs still up far. It's just really him, and I think that's why they compare him to Tom. Because so many times we didn't see Tom making it either, and then it was just him willing his team to victory. So that's the correlation with him and Tom Brady, Mr. Horace. I think it's not so much as the winning, but it's just the driving force that you can count him out. And on paper, even if you erase it and write it again, you can't see how they still ended up in the Super Bowl. So, and like Tom, everybody in the AFC this year built their team to beat Patrick Mahomes, and he's still there. Now the refs did a lot of help to get him through that last game. A lot of help. If they ever had to trade jerseys, I'm pretty sure all of them are Patrick Mahomes fans. And the 49ers ran into a slew of bad luck after having the best luck throughout the last 12 games. It was like they could do nothing wrong. Then all of a sudden, the football god said, "This is where you're stopped." It stops right here, and everything happened that could happen went wrong to them on that day. But I'm looking forward to it, and then I'm gonna say this and let Chris go. The saddest thing about this storyline is that you had two black boys who are in the NFL in the Super Bowl with two black fathers who were in their life the whole time at both of the games celebrating them. Patrick Mahomes' dad did get a little shine. Jalen Hurts dad, but I don't. This man must be like anti-camera because they refuse to put an ex-football coach on film as his son is excelling at the sport that he coached. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying I'm excited to see it, and I really, 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 really hope it be a close game. I don't want to see no blowout.
Well, the person who has the freshest ass whipping on the screen, Chris Leo. How do you feel?
Well, first of all, I want to salute my 49ers. Great season. I spoke in private with some of my friends about I thought that we might have been fool's gold. When I like I said on the last show, when I took a deeper dive into our victories, they wasn't against great opponents. Me and Harder had a conversation. Oh, and our losses was pretty bad. Me and Harder had a conversation on a live after revenge live after the end of the game. He brought up a great point about our defense. For our defense to be number one, there's no excuse for getting 31 points hung up on you. I mean, the offense is the offense, and they're going through what they're going through, but you're still supposed to be the number one defense. We take it back to the last game. We won. We only scored 19 points after Dak threw 2 interceptions. So if we are who we say we are on defense, then we shouldn't allow 31 points. But get to my prediction. I really don't have a dog in this fight. I hate to be a KD and root for the team that go support the team that just beat me. So I hate to do that, but I love this Jalen Hurts story. I love the fact that it has a father, a believing father. This is the same father that believed in him when his job got taken away from him for Tua in Alabama when he went to the Sooners, and produced there. He believed in his son. He kept on believing in his son when his son didn't get drafted in the position that he was supposed to get drafted in after the previous year leading Alabama to a championship, I think. So this is a man that always approved of him and always believed in his son. And that got to be noteworthy. Also, who put this in? Hardy put this in the group chat that he has a black female. What's it called?
Agent.
Agent. She go by the name of Nicole Lynn.
Yeah, Nicole.
First one to support represent a black quarterback. So just that story alone, I'm gonna have to root for Jalen Hurts. I didn't say anything about the Philadelphia Eagles. I said just for that, I'm gonna root for Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
It's kind of like rooting for the Eagles, though.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Listen, it gets to a certain part of the year where it's hard to watch games because you really be invested in it. And I really wanted it for Joe Burrow. I seen the mistakes he was making, some of his mistakes he wished he could get back. But I was looking at plays like, man, these referees were hard. Like, you in Kansas City, I get it. But those were some big calls. And just like in the Lakers game the other day, when they missed that call on LeBron and he did his dramatic show, I do think there should be some consequences for, bad refereeing. Like, everybody has a job performance where they grade it. And let's not forget that we put referees in jail before. So I think, like Patrick Beverly said, like, these referees need to be graded on some of their calls that they make at the end of the year. Because, I'm not supporting gambling, but a lot of times, man, some of that stuff just line up in a funny way where I think they should be investigated. I think they should have to, justify some of their calls. So that one with the Lakers, that was ridiculous. And the one for the Eagles yesterday where that dude kept being outside and they never called it was hard to reach. I'm sorry, Chris Leo.
Well, I actually want to get the hardest perspective on this because he's a former referee, and I know as a former coach, I gave referees a really, really, really hard time. Certain games, especially on foul calls, because that can be ticky-tacky. I, for one, think that LeBron, being a left-handed player, should have been going in there for a more aggressive dunk, and so you don't leave those type of calls to the referee. But because the unwritten laws in basketball is we swallow the whistle at the last seconds and let them play basketball, let them play ball. I think we all can agree that that's how we grew up watching basketball. And I think that his reaction after was too much from the face of basketball to be sitting on there in a fetal position, praying, crying. It was way too much. It was a regular season game, LeBron. There wasn't a championship. I know every game counts. I get that, but that was way too much. So I want to get your perspective on it. How hard is it to make the right call, catch every call all the time?
Hey, that's I was finna launch on this today. You made some great points because the biggest point you made is, before I even say that, is LeBron. This is a regular season game at the beginning of the season. You act like you just lost the last game you're gonna ever play in your life. So let's just say that. Now, from the point of view of that ref standing right there, that's totally the only thing that you're supposed to be looking at. So that's why it's so hard to, for him. I understand the anger of that. That wasn't the out of bounds. The judge from the back making that call. Your job is to look for a foul at the rim and the line. That's it. That's your only job. When I ref, I made sure that I did my job and then get caught up in the game. Well, we all human, and you know what's happening. We watching the game. When we watching the game, I think LeBron is getting what Shaq got. I don't know how to referee you. So you're so dominant, you can get a call every time. It's almost like offensive lineman. When people are like, oh, they holding every time. And somebody holding somebody every single time in football. Every time they say height, somebody holding. Just like LeBron, you got people like Embiid. Them people are hard as hell. Just think about because you're so massive. And the same shimmy from Embiid and bounce, you're going to bounce 3 feet off. So your eyes going to start playing tricks on you so much, but it's still a foul. And that's a sad thing about it. But that was so egregious. And then, we looking at it from a camera view. So it looks so just plain, and you know what I'm saying. So I don't get too caught up on refs. Now I will say this: throughout the game, though, it wasn't that bad. Unlike the Kansas City and Cincinnati game, bro. Listen, you think about that. That was a hard to watch game because you referee football. That was horrible. I'm trying to be funny. They gave Patrick Mahomes every chance he could to stay in that game. Every chance, every time Joe was like finna take it and get the momentum, they snatched it with a penalty. And it was a senseless penalty. Like, bro, that you could have not called that, bro. Like, you could have definitely not called that. So that's just hard to watch about that. Before we go on to that, I know we got so many. I know Tootie got a thing. I want to give a shout out to because I went around the horn. I think the Eagles are going to win, but I'm going for Kansas City because Rivera Beach's own Coach Terry will be getting his second leg if Kansas City wins. So I want to see that too. Again, you know what I'm saying? Because at some point you're gonna have to recognize what he do, and then next thing you know, it'll be offensive coordinator, or defensive coordinator. Then it'll be head coach. Then next thing you know, that's a pipeline for kids because it's him. Listen, we need as much help as we can in our city. So, man, I hope it'll be a good game, and I hope to see Coach T get him another one, man. So that's why I'm going for Kansas City, and I don't like the Eagles.
Yeah, big shout out to Coach T. I just want to put this in there. He was my AD when I was coaching at Inlet Grove. Right. I forgot the year, but he was the AD there at that time, man. Big shout out to him.
Yeah, he did the work too. Like he was one person who really cared. He just ain't, you know what I'm saying? He really cared about the city. So shout out to him.
Turn your mic on. You are a professional.
Hey, listen. Good stuff. Terry is a great person, man. I chat with him probably once a month through Messenger. Good dude. Always been solid. Always been consistent. Come from a great family. Man, I just got love for him. We used to do radio together a few mornings before he took off again. So, yeah, that's a good reason to support KC, man. Home team. When he get to be a head coach, hey, I'm going to be a ball boy because they made like $70,000. No shame for me.
Change the name.
What name?
Homeboy.
Homeboy.
They on fire tonight.
He look like with that bright ass red on.
Get the shirt, dog.
Listen, I've been trying to be a professional over the years with y'all. Xavier, you're very dark. Red does not show up good on camera with you, but you tend to do what you want to do, and it's not working.
Man. I can't wear black.
Never, Derek. I'm never taking it off.
Listen, man. All right, listen. So let me go to the stat of the night because it's probably gonna have us here for a while, and I want to make sure I get it good. Sad news this week, and I'm gonna be controversial as always. So I want to go back and give y'all a stat line. A young man, age 29, Memphis resident Tyree Nichols was murdered. And let me find my note first because I didn't put that up. All right, let me start over here. Okay. This week, what the trending news story was all over social media was a story of the death of a young man, age 29, Tyree Nichols, father of a 4-year-old son, FedEx worker, and a photographer with his own website. On January 7th, he was pulled over for alleged reckless driving. The initial stop, they got into an altercation. Officers pulled him out of the car, struggle ensued, and he ran. When they caught this young individual, Tyree Nichols, officers caught up to him where they assaulted this young man, where they visibly through their own body cameras and another additional camera on the street light, witnessed 5 officers kick and beat this man, right? Members of the Memphis Police Scorpion Unit assaulted Tyree Nichols, punches, kicks, and I mean, they actually, if you see the video, which I try not to, they took turns beating on this man. And 3 days later, this young man died in the hospital due to his injuries. The preliminary autopsy said that he died from what kind of bleeding, but he pretty much died from the beating that he took. Um, the Memphis chief of police, who is a woman, and I hate that she got a lot of bad press, which will be another conversation later on. Immediately moved on this. Immediately moved on this. Those 5 officers were relieved of duty. Protests erupt. The number one man, Ben Crump, has got involved with the family representing. So you have protests that have erupted all over the country, whether it's New York, Georgia, Memphis, demanding justice for Tyree Nichols, even though the 5 police were relieved of duty. As of today, there was one additional officer who was relieved of duty, and there will be some more. I think tonight 3 members of the Memphis fire department were relieved of duty as well, because of lack of policy. So I just wanted to give the headlines before we talked about the scenario. I personally think it's a big story simply because, first off, it's a police involved beating and death. But this time, the twist of fate is there were 5 black officers that beat a fellow, or I say fellow, 5 officers beat an African American young man. And when I seen the video, the first thing I said, that looks personal. And every day we're finding out more and more and more about this situation. So before I had to give the headlines to set it up. So I don't know who wants it first, but it was just definitely a lot to take in. And I don't know where this story is going to go. But a young man has lost his life at the age of 29.
Yeah. That's terrible, bro. We actually had a chance to talk, and I think that we actually spoke on the news about it. So we mentor. For those of you who have been following us for a while, you know that we have an Infinity Bridge to Infinity mentorship group for young black men, just trying to teach them different ways in which to be successful and value to their community. So we got a chance to sit with some of the mentees who graduated our program, myself as a counselor, also Douglas Lawson, who is the founder of the program, and we got to watch that horrendous video, which took a lot out of us because that was a brutal beating. Like, we joke about house party and how they held him and like now, like punching, but that was that level of beating. They were taking turns, they were jeering and joking about. I know one guy was injured. He was like, "Oh, when I saw him, I wasn't injured anymore." That means you know that person. So what you said, Horace, I was right along with you. Like, what caused the beating like that? Something's not being said. That does look personal. And if that's the case, that's very, very sad. It's already sad that we get beat by black people. Sorry, by white people. But for us to set our own race back so many years and just do that blatantly, that's not even, I don't even think that is something that was done in the past. I think you guys do that all the time. I really believe that. And that's a problem. There's no way you guys were taught that inside a police academy. And a good friend of mine had a discussion about this Sunday where we were talking about, we know so many good officers. We do. We're at this age. Like, when we were younger, we didn't want to be around the police, but now we understand it, we accept it, and you guys don't say anything. And that is a problem. Because if you're not speaking out against it, that means you're condoning it. So something needs to be said in lieu of some policy needs to change, and people do need to leave. But I hated that happened. They brought up a few facts about the gentleman. We never knew until the mother let out the day. And I think Benjamin Crump said the same thing. Both this guy, Tyree Nichols, and Breonna Taylor both have the same date of birth, same year. That's ironic and just adds to the sadness. Like, when does it end? So that sucks. And I hope that the alleged story that they have going on is not founded, so we don't want to support it until we know for a fact that it is true. We hope that that's not true, because that just makes it even worse. And it's already a disdain between the brown and black communities and the police officer. And I think it's just made that gap even just a little bit more wider. But that's all I had on that. I don't know, but I'm interested to hear what you guys are going to say about
it. Well, for me, I don't want to make it a black issue, because what I fear what's going to happen is they're going to make these black men the poster child of police brutality. They're going to have to wear it for everyone, and I don't want to feel any compassion for those men from what I've heard was on that tape, because I refuse to watch it. I just mentally I would not allow myself to watch that and be conditioned and have that grain burned into my memory. So I actually seen the video, but from conversations with people that has, they say it's very, very bad, very traumatic, and I just won't see it. But it's nothing new to me. This is policing. If you think about it, when you see movies, TV shows about policing, it's like this. You know what I'm saying? When you go watch a movie, the police in the movie treats black people badly. In Boys in the Hood, they portray police badly. So this is a normal thing when it comes to police, and I think this is a systemic problem when it comes to police. We give them way too much power. They get to be judge, jury, and executioner at the scene of the crime or the scene of the arrest. I think that's the problem. We have a problem with qualified immunity. We have a problem with just black officers wanting to fit in the system so much that they would go leaps and bounds, to me, in my opinion, to prove themselves to white officers. There's this great quote by James Baldwin. Let me see if I can pull it up. It says, "The Negro police are feared more than the whites, for they have more to prove and fewer ways to prove it." And that quote resonated with me, because that's what we see a lot of, man. Like I said, I think this is a really, really sad issue, I hope that it shines a light on policing. Now, I'm not hopeful of that. I think it's going to continue to be the same way. But what I think we should do is take this same form of policing when you arresting Dylan Roof, who shot black people in a church. Take the same form of arresting when you're arresting the January 6th mob that stormed the White House. Take the same form of policing when you're arresting rapists, when you're arresting school shooters, when you're arresting gang members that just did drive-bys. The problem is when you do this to people that doesn't deserve it. That's the problem. And I heard a lot they talk about there's not any outcry, isn't the same protesting. What I believe in the core of it is that the core of people that protest is protesting for injustice. This is a situation where within 20 days, we received justice. Those officers was arrested. Those officers was jailed and suspended. And now they're finding new people to fire and suspend. So justice is in the process of being served. What we have a problem with is when it's done to us by a white officer on tape, but we got to wait to the end of the trial to go through the tape to confirm what we can physically see. And I think that's the problem, man. I can go on and on about this because this is really, really shook me, because I got nephews that's taller, stronger built with dreads. I got nephews that probably would be scared in the situation that young man was facing, man. It's bad. I'm over this bad.
All right, Mario, let me get your take before I ask y'all a question that's probably gonna put some things in perspective. It ain't gonna be nothing popular, but it's a real question.
Chris made some great points, and I think that the part I think I want to hone on his thing is, these people, these police officers are going to be the poster child for police brutality, to show that it's not only like white cops that do this. It's this is a bad cop thing, and we need to get push agendas to get new rules changed and all that, right? So here we go, we march again, we outraged. Everybody can't watch the video. Everybody's upset. Everybody's confident in her mother. Benjamin Comp, he's back again. It's the same. Like, this is the book that we keep reading, right? So then I said, well, damn, really, what's the problem? Because see, this is not. I believe this. This is where I'm going to go with this. And I thought about this. And maybe I shouldn't. but I'm gonna go here. Right now, if 5 black guys would have came to a Los Angeles neighborhood and beat the hell out of another black guy, it would have been shootings for 20 days straight. 20 days straight. 20 days straight, they would have let it fly. Now, if 5 white guys had did that, they might have talked and stuff like that. Because we talk a big game, but when it comes to beating the Ku Klux Klan, the skinheads of the Nazis, we don't really clash with them, But our own is proven. If you jump one of us, we retaliate. It's shown in Baltimore, Atlanta, any city where it's an urban area, it's known. If 5 black guys beat the hell out of one black guy, it's going to be retaliation. So some people will say, well, like, why would that happen? Why would that not happen now? Because everybody who was gangster the day before it happened, they were still gangster. All the Crips and Bloods and GDs, they still GDs, they still Bloods, they still Crips, they still gangster. I know he got to have some gangsters in his family who willing to die about that, who riding around with a pistol right now, and if somebody bump their car, they ready to spray the whole block up. Until it's a police officer.
And they white.
So that's when, when you hear Charleston White, who I don't agree with a lot, but sometimes I do, you hear him say, like, everybody are cowards nowadays. Mm-hmm. And that's what come to mind when I first seen that video. Here we go, a bunch of cowards. Every time somebody talk about the 60s and 70s, there's one thing they had in common. They were willing to die for the cause. They were willing to die for the cause by any means necessary. People who protested, who got beat, I'm saying not killed, died for the cause in any way. Now we have a bunch of people who are willing to kill for stripes, but not die for the cause. And this is going to keep happening to us until we do. You can protest, you can vote, you can scream, you can yell, you can not support. But since the beginning of the Bible, wars have been fought. People have died. It's not a time, no matter what book you read, from the beginning of time, conquerors, taking over cities, wiping out cities. Death is a part of the progression of change. And anytime you're sitting there trying to think and be naive to think that in order to change something so drastic that people don't have to die, then you're crazy and naive. And that's just what I think. And I know it's the unpopular thing and nobody wants nobody to die, but then nobody really wants change. Because with death comes change. It's a new life. Even in the Christianity faith, I'm gonna let Christian Horace go. Mm-hmm. In order to become a Christian, they would say you have to do what? Die to your sins. Death is a part of life. So until people start understanding that there's real repercussions for taking somebody else's life, you're just gonna keep taking life. And that's just what I feel about this. So
listen, to your point, Mark, I'm gonna say this. To your point, I always said for a long time that a lot of times you do. I know people that joined the police force with the best intentions, and then when they became police officers, they seen the change. You know what I mean? They tried the brotherhood. I would call it the blue wall of silence. But that brotherhood is just seen to be something that they align with. So that acceptance, I always say the illusion of inclusion really blinds a lot of people. But, I have the pleasure of having some great friendship with police. I don't know if it's because of who I am or, but I've seen consistency when I talk to Officer Phillips, that's all y'all know. I was having a problem with one of my baby boys, and I felt I trusted her enough to, talk to him. Officer Nance, who is a high-ranking police officer with Riviera Beach, who, didn't have to. He runs Riviera Beach PAL. Man, he's taking the kids to places like Disney World and dealing with them. I seen him this Saturday at the gym during one of the games. One of the kids acted up, and he had a relationship with them. But to Chris's point, the media is here for one thing, and it's always for them to create the division, right? So despite the fact that Breonna Taylor's killers, or those officers, are not arrested, to my knowledge, they're not arrested, shows me that we are on the right track when it comes to talking about how quickly they move. I applaud the Memphis police chief who moved fast, but like I said, they're going to use those 5 black officers as the new face of police brutality. So when we make noise, they're going to be like, well, look what happened over here. But this is where I want to actually go a little bad. I personally don't think qualification to be a policeman is harsh enough. It's 6 months of training and you out. I know it's just I can't insult Zay, but I was going to say certain fields don't require a lot. You know what I mean? But if you look at the police levels that require education, you don't see those type of things. When you have state troopers, they were at one time they required 2-year degrees of FLE. Like different divisions don't require it. But when you go to police, I know people that wasn't the brightest box or the brightest crayon in the box that are now police officers. You know. But let me say something that's unpopular. The guys lost their job. They're probably going to be charged. Ben Crump made a press conference, which is good for his PR. But what we marching and we protesting. So
it's crazy.
Like it's really nothing you can do. Those were 5 officers, which we see it was a personal issue, right? It's sad, it's effed up. I hope they get back in jail. But we so emotional that we react. But I'm saying, like, we marching, what are we asking for? Is there
we asking for to get rid of qualified immunity? That's the first thing. What we should be pushing for is like what you said was the police chief, but the district attorney has more power, and she has, and they the one put in place ways they call it more change. Like things like you was doing, running for commissioner of the city, that creates the budget for the police for the police's department. We spend a lot. We spend an exorbitant amount on policing in this country for the crime to be as bad as it is. It makes no sense how much money we dump into the police departments when crime is still at the same. We at some point. I'm not one here saying take away police, but we have to reimagine policing. We have the first wave of police that comes to a incident shouldn't be the arresting police. They should be probably the investigating police, the one that asks more questions. Then there should be another call if things get escalated. What's happening is one cop is getting to be able to decide how far something's going to get escalated, and then once the things get escalated, they have protocol where they say things on camera like "stop resisting," where they say things where they had a story set so when they do go to court, that blue wall of silence or that shield around them protects them. So for one, I think 100% get rid of qualified immunity. If you don't know what that is, take the time out to look it up, because that's what gets these cops off, and that's what a lot of things that doesn't hold these cops accountable. That's number one. Start voting locally. Start researching some of these candidates that has a mindset of rethinking policing, and start there. It starts locally, and that's just my opinion. And then on top of that, we have to, I think, with young kids, because it's maybe harder for the older crowd, but I believe that we got to get these cops that's in these departments that's right next to these schools, get them involved into these communities a lot more, so they can have a human side to the police. Because what people seen on that video is when cops don't treat people human. They don't think that man was a human. That's why you beat them like that. That's how they beat slaves. That's how they beat people that in jails. They don't feel that man was human, and that's the problem.
Well, Chris, I want to say something that might it align with you a little bit. One, it looks so personal. I felt like them officers, like, well, it's allegedly it is personal, right? For you to have that kind of hatred towards your own, you know what I mean? I thought that was weak. I think that says more about them people, right? But to your point, so we run out and we protest. This is not going to be the last time it happened. It might be, it's not. So when we go out there and do this emotional reaction and protest, like you said, that's a good point. That's what we need to get rid of. I haven't seen it a point, but we run out of the streets, we protesting without an agenda, without a plan. Because if we listen to your plan, guess what? Just like BLM and all those groups organized, we should have organized all them people that's out in the streets and said, we're going to start a pact to create revenue to put people in place that can get this removed. But no, we don't. We got different leaders that get up. Nothing against Ben Crump. He get up in front of the mic. He get everybody involved. But guess what? From my history, people get killed, family get a check, we go on. It's a hashtag. But what's the solution here? What's like? Ain't nobody. I ain't seen nobody talk about community yet.
That ain't one, man. It's crazy because it's crazy as you talk about solutions that there isn't one. And I saw the same thing you saw, and I'm tired of that too as well. You know, Ben Crump shows up. His record ain't well. I don't care. That's gonna be my sour note to everything. His record not well, but one thing we know that Ben gonna do is get that money. And it's almost like, Ben, you're not even really a help to the situation because it's chasing dollars. But those families have lost a loved one. Like nothing ain't changing. And in every scene, he's there. He damn near about as bad as Jesse Jackson was when it was his time. He always there, but he ain't changing nothing. You know what I'm saying? And it is terrible because when you have guys such as ourselves who are trying to tell young men, you know, act respectable, they'll respect you back, and they not respecting you, and they beating you to a pulp. The words that we saying are starting to fall on deaf ears, and they like, shoot, but no action is being taken, and I think that's the biggest part right there.
I say this. I remember when I was little, I didn't live up under a rock, so I obtained a lot of clubs, right? And one thing I knew in clubs, they had bouncers. Right? So every club had a bouncer. And bouncers had what? Power. So when you get wrong in the club, because bouncers are people too, you can say something to him, be in your right in the club, something go wrong, and next thing you know, you got 6, 7 dudes jumping on your head, beating you, right? And that happened. To most of the time, it happened to people that what? The bouncers knew wouldn't retaliate. Because I seen those same bouncers get their hand pushed in their head. I seen dudes who they know will come to holler at them later. They let them in the club. They disrespect them. They don't say nothing. Listen, we can do all this talking in the world. One thing I know about this life right here from the beginning, the only thing works is to make sure you show somebody that you're not playing.
Yeah.
Bouncers, right now, I've seen people disrespect a whole crew of bouncers and nobody do nothing. I've seen people comply and get threw out on their head. Why? Yeah. It's the fear of retaliation. Honestly, if you went to die right now, there's no way. Like certain people talk to certain people and do certain stuff certain ways. You know, Benjamin Crump is doing his job. Once your loved one is gone, Benjamin Trump, like Tudor said, can't change laws. All he can do is get you money and raise up a whole bunch of stank so you can get some kind of justice paid, and most likely it's going to be lucrative, right? That's what he do. Okay, we understand that. But once your loved one gone, nothing can bring them back. The only thing you can do is make it be known we as a people will not go to work tomorrow. Your mama won't go to work tomorrow. Your kids won't go to school and have a good day tomorrow if you kill our people in the street and beat the hell out of them. Because then it's not just you. It's not just you. You worried about your whole family, your whole everything else. Because you might can say, I could do 5 years. I could do 10 years. It was worth it. It don't matter. But what about your family? Yeah. What about everybody else? And that's the thing. People don't want to talk about that. But people learn to act right when people know you will get it on every level. And one thing for sure, our other counterpart showed you, which January 6th, they're willing to go the whole way. But we act like, see, that's the thing. We want to sit up here and look for all the other kind of ways to solve the problem, but they know the way to solve the problem. Because when they're in trouble, they solve the problem the way it's been solved since the beginning of time. Straight ass ways. That's from the beginning of time. That's the way it's been solved. But I know, let's vote. Let's qualified immunity. Let's do all that. Caesar, thousands of people. He didn't hang everybody until what? Yeah. The Vikings came, the Indians came. It's always, you have to do that. And I hate to say it, I don't know when we got to a point as a nation that was founded on that we forgot, like, bro, how did America become America? They didn't come over here and peacefully trade and say, hey, let's sit at the table and let's just sit down and then orchestrate this. They didn't build America by saying, hey, Africa, how you doing? Let's sit down. Here's what I got. Here's what you got. Bro, it came by force. Everything in this world, we know it came by force. So I don't understand how we just act like that's not that can't possibly be the answer. Because we don't know it.
I don't think they acting no hard because you got to think about it. They know the way because they made the way. See, we didn't know the way. We got
put into their system.
Yeah, we've seen it.
They're not under attack. So they're sitting back looking at us. I'm talking about us. We're the ones getting attacked right here. We're the ones who called him Benjamin. We're the ones who marched in the street still after 700 years and 400 years because we were slaves. We're the ones who still have the same rhetoric. It's nothing wrong in their system. So why would they be allies to change it? I'm saying every time the system have changed in this country, it's been by force. Every time. I know it's unpopular to say it, and we want to sit around and act like the rules that they created and the laws that they created and the people they put in office is going to abide by us if we make enough sense. They showed you, bro. They stole an election. No matter what you want to believe or not, right in our face. Bro, once you go drop that ballot in there, you don't know where that's going. You don't know if you vote for this. Half the people going to vote don't know who the sheriff is, who the city council person is. Come on, bro, let's start bullshitting. Everything in this country have came by force, and we're not ready. I tell everybody all the time. I go hunting. I'm gonna let it go because I don't want to sound like the militant Martian, but I go hunting all the time. In the wood, I see a lot of 8-year-olds that's not my color out there knocking down stuff. I see a lot of them. Right. And I see 8-year-olds in school pictures with chains on.
Well,
my color.
I would say this. Listen, there was a poem one time. My Negroes, so sweet and kind, beware of the day that they change their mind. I just don't think that's going to happen. But I will say this. To Mario's point, to end it on and cap it. Our biggest problem, people we trust, ain't going to take you nowhere. The people that they allow to be on TV in this racist system, you think they're going to allow somebody to really get on screen and tell you something good? They talked about Martin Luther King. He had a dream. That speech was 4 years old. They died on when he said where to check it. They killed him when they said where to check it. They let you go and parade and think Jesse Jackson is so amazing. I tell y'all all the time, fuck Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson and a whole lot of people around Martin Luther King was the most evil people. Jesse wanted to be Martin Luther King, and he set him up. Oh, look at all these damn documents. And I'm not done crazy. Go Google all this stuff. That Martin Luther King died broke and penniless, and he was surrounded by nothing but FBI informants. And you ain't got it. And so the family went to sue USA, blah, 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 proved about the conspiracy. But a lot of Negroes that he trusted was right there to make sure that he made his demise. So it's hard, bro. So when you listen to all these people they leave on air that's got we need to do this and that, they ain't telling y'all to do nothing productive. They ain't telling you to do nothing substantial. The people that do say some real stuff, they'll never make it on air. Or they try to kill him. Hell, Andrew Tate is finding out, hell, he don't even look black. And when he just saying men be better, and they trying to wipe him out the globe. So
bro, you know the only group they killed was the Black Panther Party, or they tried to eradicate was the Black Panther Party. Why?
Yeah, that's it. And they copied all the programs.
Why? Because there was not bro. You're not gonna just come slap me in my face and I ask you to please forgive me or lose your job. Yeah. You slap me in my face, I'm gonna slap you in your face and the person standing next to you too. No, you're just not gonna slap me in my face and I say, can you please fire him? Hey, Chris, come sign this ballot. Let's get him fired. No, bro, you slap me in my face, I'm gonna slap you back in your face, and then whatever comes with that, bro. That's the way of the world. But we seem like we finna forget that when you put on a blue uniform or any uniform of any like, that's what I said.
Take the position.
Yeah.
The one. Listen, we ain't got enough justice for people like Fred Hampton. You know what I mean? Like watching those movies that at least watered down. Man was killed in his sleep. You think about the same police society, man. You should be angry.
It's a train of thought, Horace. That it's just like anything else. Like I say, the bouncers, it's a train of thought. I know I can do that to them because this is what's gonna happen: outrage, boycott, march.
Pay some money.
pay them some money,
So
go away. Outrage. When voting come around, talk about it, catchy subject, act like we're gonna vote on it. We get the wrong people in, we complain about the wrong people. Swear to God, these new people, the right people, vote them in. They the wrong people. Come on, bro. It's not dangerous.
I was gonna end the show, but can I say something before we go?
Wait.
And I know Toya said she agreed with me for the first time. Well, that ain't gonna last long. I'm about to say something that's gonna make her mad. Listen, let's be 100 here. I am a person who, in my best interest, I'm gonna support the person that gives me the best life possible for me. So yes, when it came, I knew who Joe Biden was, right? And people were mad at Trump, despite it was emotional. They hated Trump for this, but we're gonna go and vote for Biden because we don't like what Trump's saying, despite your economic realities being pretty decent. But I knew who Biden was. We ignored when he was talking about Haiti with shit, all that. The man is one of the most racist people ever, and y'all voted him as president. So where am I going with this? Bro, black people, even Obama shut down the conversation when it came to reparations, right? Black people are not respected in this country at all. So when you look at, it's hard for us to get home ownership. It's hard for black people to get anywhere because the system demands that they keep you in a consumer state where you don't get anywhere. Where am I going with this? We ignore the policies of Joe Biden, who is your president. They say, oh, he's just a president. No, he's very influential. Even though he's a Democrat, he sides a lot with the same people that y'all call racist Republicans. How is it? I'm giving you an example, and we ignore stuff like this. This man can't pay our reparations. The man could not even erase your college debt, but he keeps sending all his money over to Ukraine, which is one of the most racist, white supremacist strongholds in the whole world. Everybody knows this. And he's just giving out your money. Everything here is ridiculously, outrageously high. Then the same brother are taking people from the Ukraine and let them get Social Security when Social Security, they already tell you Social Security is about to be extinct. How many times have he said Haitians and different people, their policy to stay here? But then you see a colorism where you see people of a lighter complexion, Cubans and other groups, not have that same restriction. Like, how can we keep ignoring these racist policies? I just don't get it. Sorry for that. I just had to ask people. The people attack me, and I'm like, man, y'all just don't get it. I question, like, how do you ignore and have love for somebody who doesn't even care about lying to you? This man did nothing for African Americans, but y'all vote for him and y'all support him and go to bat for him. This man don't even respect y'all. He don't respect us. I ain't gonna say y'all, us. So, man, y'all can look this stuff up, man. I just don't understand how we ignore. It's almost like Stockholm syndrome. We ignore what's right in your face and make an excuse for it. It just makes me angry sometimes. So that was my.
I'll tell you what, Horace.
Yes, sir.
Don't apologize for that.
Shit.
That's how you feel. That's what it is. It's what we see. I even a conversation this week, I was speaking with some older gentlemen who were talking politics, and they were saying how Joe Biden was doing a good job. He's cool. Where at? Everything is sky high. You made a great point about the reparations because they shot that to high hell. But the minute Ukraine got in trouble, they shot billions. They shot all of our reparations over there, causing inflation and strife in us. We should hit a recession within the first 3. They say 6 months. I know they lying. That's here.
We've been here.
I deal in business and in finances. I'm looking at this, and we still talking about Trump. What about him? Why don't you figure out with somebody who aligns with what you got going on that can get us out this mess, or is talking about getting us out this mess? And that's the farthest thought from anyone's mind. Biden's doing a great job. Like hell he is. That bitch sleep half the time. Or don't even know what's going on. He incoherent. And man, and it's crazy because the gaslighting, if you looked at the headlines today, he's siding with the George Floyd Foundation or law, whatever they got as it pertains to Tyree Nichols. Man, you ain't want your kids going to school with jungle, what he called us? Yeah. Man, get out of here, man. So, yeah, I'm fed up. It's something that needs to be done. Yeah, I'm with you, Mario. It sounds terrible to tell kids that, but you're right. The best line of defense, because we know what happened if the roles were reversed and it would have been some white. We don't see white people this happen to white people at all, because they know that they're gonna act the donkey. See, we just talked about acting the donkey, but it's terrible for us to try and tell kids that if something happens, that this is the manner in which you should act. But as my homeboy alluded to, when he goes hunting, 3-4 o'clock in the morning, we're not the ones teaching our kids survival. And that's what it is. That's too much, we say, for our generation, our color, or whatever. But that's the run of the mill of the business. So like I was saying to you before, Hardy, that's the way they have always been taught. They're only doing what their ancestors and forefathers been doing for forever. We just disenfranchised from ours, so we don't know. But we got to stop doing this because, man, we are dying, and it sucks. So I don't know.
Yeah,
that's wait till DeSantis shut down Black History.
That ain't even true, dude.
That ain't all the way. What is cracked up to be all the way.
See what I mean?
But that was my point right there. How could what is DeSantis? Spanish?
Government, yeah.
Cuban.
How could he shut down Black History when we Black? Like, how? See, that's what I'm saying. Like the understanding of that. Like, how could he stop me from teaching my son who he is, who he was, who came before him, what's in him? Because you don't teach it at a school. Bro, I don't put no faith in the school system anyway. That's what I keep saying. We put our faith too much into systems that was never created for us to excel.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like I do not say. That's why my wife was like, we need to move here because of this school system. She could tell you this school system. I said, man, I don't give a damn what school they go to. They gonna learn to the level that we make them learn. That's how I feel. You can tell this ain't no count. You can tell when I was pushing back on her, well, this school got a 4A and this school got a bro. I know great people who went to John F. Kennedy when people was getting shot at, who are lawyers and doctors right now. You know why? Because their parents were busting their butt at home. Stop trying to put everything and blame everybody. Start with us. I don't care what law you pass. I don't care what you do. In my house, this is how it's going to be done. But that's not what it is. So we always going to say, like, if right now this man take Black history out of every school, we had to talk about this off air. The sad thing about it is that's the only time kids hear about Black history. Mm-hmm. That's why they so scared. You don't have one black poster in your house. The only thing they know is Martin Luther King Day and Malcolm X in the movies that come on. So that's why everybody's so scared about Black history being gone, because you don't teach Black history, because you don't live Black history. So if you don't do that, you're right. If they take it out of school, your children gonna think they don't know they Black. But you shouldn't give a damn. I don't give a damn what they take out of school. They won't stop. Amazon still sell books, and they showed you that. They still selling the Hebrew book that Kyrie had to apologize 10,000 times for.
They don't read so hard. That's the problem.
Jeff Bezos is he gonna sell every book that he want to sell. So long as they doing that, bro, we gotta stop that. That's why it made me so upset, bro. Me and Horace were talking for a long time today about like systems, bro. These systems, you got to break this systematic thinking and start saying, like we get those cliche lines. I'm breaking generational curses. I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that, bro. No, you're not, bro. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Stop lying. You're not. You're not doing nothing right now. No, you're not.
Yeah.
Bro, look in the mirror and say, what am I gonna do to be better, bro? I don't want to hear that crap. We sorry.
You gotta look in the mirror and ask yourself, what are you teaching? And it's the truth, because half don't read, just keep it a buck. You don't read, so you can't feed into them. So you're looking for someone else to do your job, just like you said, Hard, in the beginning. Nobody don't want to do the work. It's sacrifice. Something has to die. The old ways got to die. But that's the last thing we're gonna do, because that's gonna infringe on our free time. You know, mama need a life, daddy gotta get out here, whatever the case may be. But really and truthfully, when you do have kids, that's what your life is, making sure that theirs is nothing like what yours was, or that they don't have to go through that. How do you do that? Well, you educate them. You know what I'm saying? You try to give them as much of a playing a vantage field as you can, because that's what our counterparts do. This is the reason my homeboy keeps saying he see 8-year-olds out there laying deers out. They're teaching them how to survive if this, what we're on right now, technology, cease to exist. They can still keep thriving. We gonna be lost because we fresh to death. We got the newest Yeezys. We don't even know how to make an outside fire or something to that effect. And it's a whole bunch of, that's just some of the things that can be taught. But you can do books over the summer. Y'all don't do that. Y'all give them iPhones and they on TikTok all damn day, man. And they don't have no task set for them. We could never do that growing up. We had specific things that we had to do so that we can understand what life is going to be like for us once we got older. And I just think that all those things have kind of got soft or timid, or we shied away from them. So when real problems and things,
not to cut you off. I know Horace want to say, well, I was a screw up most of my life, most of my teens, most of my 20s, and partially in my 30s, right? So I know every way not to do the right thing. I somewhat mastered it. Went to the highest levels of screwing up, right? So one thing I do say is this. When I say I want to be better, it's because every night Mario got to read a book. When I say I want to be better, I'm always challenging Jayla, not just to be in college, but what are you doing? Who are you networking with? What's your financial? She was just saying, oh, I got money. You don't got no money. You broke. Stop it. You one paycheck away from catastrophe. You don't have that's what I'm saying. Like you have to be 10 times better than me because it's so hard right now. I just was kept showing. Google just fired 10,000 people. Google don't hire people without degrees. So there were people who went to college, had me and Chris were talking about, had loans, had all that stuff, did the quintessential, I did the right thing in life. I went to college, I got a technology degree. And now you what? So my point is, you got to figure this shit out. And when, we can just keep going on and on and on, but when you got to figure this out and how that will to I got to survive, bro. And I don't think we as a people got that number. I don't see it as much no more.
Wait, let me ask you something before I go to Chris. But Chris got a high school, a freshman, right? Why do we as Black people, the same system we complain about, we're depending on them to educate us, right? Most ethnicities have that, whether it's Spanish, whether it's coming from the grandparents, Jewish people have their own. They have a whole school that's teaching them about their culture, right? So I get mad when we have the clickbait because a lot of people, he's taking African American history out of schools, not Pacific, right? And you see Ben Crump show up. Why? Because it's good press for Ben Crump, right? And get everybody all excited, right? But Florida statute in Florida 1003.42 requires that all public schools teach African American history. But if you want to protest what they are taught about African American history, because pretty much all that is you were bought, you were sold, like it has no value. So the Governor DeSantis run the course that was flagged. Even they say it is good. It has some great stuff. It's progressive. It is advanced, but people don't get to Section 4. So let's just be honest with ourselves. DeSantis. Well, you're a governor, so the lawsuit's not going to go anywhere. Second of all, why did it get flagged? Because, God darn, I can't think of her name. Well, the people that wrote the book, I can't think of her name. She was the, well, I'll put it like this. Angela Davis, former Black Panther, wrote a section on it called Pearls of Wisdom. And then you had a lady named Bell Hooks who wrote Black Queer Studies. So, yes. This is why this stuff is getting flagged. So you have a Cuban white man saying, hold up, I'm not really, it's not African American. It's an AP Advanced Toyota thing. But the clickbait had people, and I'm talking about everyday water cooler talk saying, they're taking all African American history out of class. I don't think we even know the clickbait that comes from that. So I'm saying with my kids and even my conversation with our nephews, we talk about stuff. You grew up, your grandma and granddaddy told you about stuff there wasn't no history books. So to everybody's point, it's all about educating yourself because the honest point is in schools, you are getting indoctrinated. And that's my point. Chris Leo, who has a freshman in high school.
Well, I'm not familiar about this conversation, to be honest with you. I wasn't prepared for it tonight. I have a rocky relationship with Governor DeSantis. I think that a lot of the things that he's done, I've been in favor for. Some of the things I haven't been in favor for. I think his handling of the COVID situation at the time didn't seem like it was the best thing to do, but at the end, it turned out that keeping Florida open was the best decision. He's had controversial bills before, the Don't Say Gay bill, and when they presented it to us in the media, it was the Don't Say Gay bill when the gay word wasn't in the bill. You know what I'm saying? So I want to take more time to see what his actual reasons for not wanting this course and knocking it down. Because what he said, the little clip that I seen, it had undertones of sexuality. It had undertones of transgenderism, and I'm not familiar with that, so I don't want to speak on that stuff like that. But I'm for some of the decisions that he's made as far as being pro father in Florida, I want to give him enough leeway to examine that bill just a tad bit more, because I agree with what Demario was saying, that it's our job to educate ourselves. We shouldn't need that class to do that, and I think that's more of an elective class. I don't know if that's a class that you got to take, and so again, I think that this is our job to educate ourselves, because I don't think that if they had all these classes in prior, what has it done so far? You know what I'm saying? Like, what have we used those classes to better ourselves as a race so far? So if you take them away, what would be the net negative of it? That's just my opinion. And I hope
something
that
to talk about.
it was taken away, it will spark something in us to say, well, let's teach our kids about our history. Let us do more studying about our history, because we're saying we're talking about these kids, but we don't know. A lot of us don't know our history. I've fairly recently learned about Mansa Musa. You know what I'm saying? In the Kemet dynasty, and all these different things that we're just learning now. And we had all those African American studies growing up. How much did it benefit us until we got Google and been able to do something for ourselves? So let's not lose our autonomy as a race. Let's not lose our ability to be self-reliant and resilient. So, for me, this is not that much of an issue, but I would like to educate myself on it a little bit more.
Yeah, thank you. And I would give you leeway to say go to section 4. Listen, I'm not saying, I like the course. There's parts of it that is why it's being flagged, and I support some of the parts that's being flagged, but it is advanced. Section 4 is one of the sections that came into question. So, oh boy, he's talking about all of these topics are a part of African American studies. Should we not have topics around Jay's Bomb and Bill Hooks, Bernard Russell, Andre Lardon, and yes, and that's elective course. Yeah, but see, how is it? And that's to her point. Kind of like when they present this, everybody know we like to react and we get emotional, and not even do any kind of research to know it's an elective. So no, he's not taking history out of all the schools, like how it's thrown out there. I think people use our ignorance for their benefit. So I know I've been crumped.
I've been on college campuses. There's subsidiary groups on college campuses that focus primarily on their nationality. Mm-hmm. So let's us start it on every single campus. There's an African American academy or program where we together teach each other. Let's take it upon ourselves. I don't know the particulars of this bill. I have no idea. I need to do more research on it. But let us start that.
It is the Q dogs, the alphas, the zeta. Those are the groups that teach us all about ourselves. You know how we used to dance around the fires, bump it down, get drunk, and there you go.
Yeah, that's another thing. We're pledging Greek when we started that too, but that's the whole other story.
Listen, before we go, I want to say do the easy assignment and start off about local history. If you know about Riviera Beach and Palm Beach, Hey, do some research on downtown and figure out why downtown people act a little different. It's a nice little history lesson. Learn about the story of the sticks, SYTX, and talk about the original parts of Palm Beach and Henry Flagler. Talk about how originally
E.R. Bradley.
all of
Bet you a lot
that.
of you guys like that.
Start there, even with your local history. The Tequesta Indians, how this city, Riviera Beach, was nothing but, uh, nothing but Bahamians were coming here way before. So, listen, I always say it starts with us. I know I
You got
said F. Jesse Jackson today, but go look up Martin Luther King case. Go look the
And you
federal.
can
It's
say it
all
yourself.
private now. It's all public record now. You will see our history was a little bit different. People, we celebrate Martin Luther King now, but it's funny that people, even black people, did not support this man. They gave Martin Luther King hell, felt like he was just out there causing trouble. And you had some of his same informants. I'm gonna show y'all a clip of one of his main informants, the lady, who just seemed like she hated black people herself, like she didn't even register as a black person, man. So, boy, it's tough, man. Sorry to go militant tonight, but it was good. It was good.
we got to give Toya a segment on the show where
So
she
she teach.
she teaches and corrects some of the things that we say because she had these conversations with me and they quite refreshing.
All right, I'm gonna start with you first, Chris. Closing comment.
Yeah, just like my 49ers, we're about to be out of here for the night. But I like to thank you guys for showing up on Monday, man. This is season quattro. A lot of y'all been here from the beginning. A lot of y'all, just coming in, man. We appreciate every single time that you take the time out of your day to listen to what we got to say. But we're gonna need a little bit. We're gonna need to hold. We're gonna need you to let me hold something. Buy yourself one of these, man.
Oh yes.
Don't
This
say
makes your drink colder, your drink warmer. It makes it taste better.
it does.
It's good with yak. It's good with tea. It's good with coffee. Uh, Demario will show you his, but he broke his. God damn it! Buy you one in honor of Demario's broken.
Just
Damn
strong as
kids.
hell.
I'm gonna have to buy another with these damn kids, man. My son was trying. He was trying to bring it to me and dropped it.
Dang.
Super Mario
And you
Senior.
get mad at him.
Yeah, I can. So that's coming out of his allowance, and he don't even know it. Yeah, man, I appreciate everybody who reached out to me. Let me say thank you to everybody. My boy Chris sent me old Dallas Cowboy had the new version of a beanie, so it was nice, man. My son tried to wear it to school today, so I didn't want to put him. I didn't want to put him through that. I'm not gonna make him a Cowboys fan. But thank you for everybody who reached out on my birthday, man, and then stuff. If you know me, I don't celebrate those kind of things too big. So I just was happy to receive the love, man. Thank y'all for coming on this Monday. And we'll be back 2 Mondays, you know what I'm saying, until we get to the Super Bowl, because we probably had that day off. I don't know, we might share house. Well, I don't know, we'll probably be going to Super Bowl parties. But we'll see how it go, man. Just see how it go, man. Thank y'all for coming.
Ladies, I got a Super Bowl party that I gotta go to with some co-workers. I gotta bring a date. So you know what to do. Hit the inbox, let me know. Ladies, I need a date for the Super Bowl party.
He needs to know what to do with the $40. It's his first time.
Oh God.
It ain't.
No, but you know what, Mario, I'm glad, man. Shout out to you. You did endure another lap around the sun. We didn't get a chance to give you your flowers earlier out in the show, but we hollered at you over the weekend. Another lap, another good run. You starting another one. We just wanted to say, happy birthday to you. You already know we love you because we talk trash to you about your team on air in your face. So whatever love is there in that. For everyone else, we always thank you for spending your Mondays with us. You could have been doing anything else. You came through. But the only thing you didn't do was come through on the mug. Get your mug, support the guys. It's tax season. I always tell you, come see the professionals. It's tax season. It don't seem like it, but it's tax season. Come see the professionals, get questions answered, get educated so that you're not on the wrong side. do the right thing. We always try to advocate for that. And thank you.
Ladies, y'all heard Zay. Support the Black Super Friends and buy a mug. If you know what he did with his mug, you would really want to support.
Just send 40.
Yeah. I don't know what's got into Zay tonight. But listen, Toya, everybody on this screen went with the Eagles except for Mario.
Ron Kent.
Braden. He's supporting someone from the Riviera Beach City. So 2 black quarterbacks. Nobody on the screen likes either team, but to each his own.
It's gonna be a good game.
I want to eat. I'm not going to watch nobody play. This game gonna suck. But
Philly cheesesteaks.
God damn it! Listen, but God damn it, Chris, you made me lose my goddamn train of thought.
You said you going there to eat. I was asking what's her name.
I don't have Pac-Man fever like the people on that side of the screen. It just happens. They always get frozen. Yeah, that's what you do, Zay. It ain't no secret. Takes my ass. It's
Sniper game.
So, hey, on the serious side of things, I want y'all. Oh my God, Chris.
That's your fault, Chris.
I hope this ain't no. I think he's cute.
No, that's exactly what it is, Chris.
I'm not playing into that.
Oh man, listen. So hey, I challenge everybody to research anything that we said on the screen today. Go back and dig. And once you start on one story, it's gonna take you down this rabbit hole. Review some of them old history cases and start learning about people like the famous Fannie Mae Hammer. Is it Hamer?
Hamer.
Listen, there's a lot of people out there in those civil rights area, but she was one of the realest. God damn it, that's my favorite one. And I never knew she was related to this person named Chris Leo. But God damn it, go and listen to some of her speeches. Boy, she was a real one. And she would pop a cap in somebody's ass. You know what I mean? She didn't just talk it. She walked it.
So she led by force.
Huh?
He ain't letting it go. He's not going to let it go.
What?
She led by what?
He said, so she did it by force. He's not going to let it go, ever.
Bro, her speeches, look at her speeches. They are 100. They 100. So thank y'all for joining us another week.
I want to say this, Tootie, before you go. I'm sorry.
Yes,
when I lost and took my devastating defeat to the San Francisco 49ers, one of my illustrious black super friends called me. And I answered the phone because I knew that I had a lot of homeboys that were 49ers fans, and I had been talking much trash. Like I called Tootie when Tampa Bay, when Tom went down. Zay, I always do that. And I got to give y'all credit, each and every one of y'all, because y'all always show up and then take the beating. But I got to call out a couple suckers right now. Excuse me, just give me a little minute. Jeffrey Russell, sucker, did not pick up the phone. The Deacon, Henri Archer, sucker, did not pick up the phone. Who else was on that call with me? Rail didn't pick up, but he didn't pick up the last time, but he was just on it. So I'm gonna just say you halfway a sucker. I don't know if you're really a sucker because you didn't go the first time, but you looking suckerish. So I'm gonna just say that like that time right there. You know what I'm saying? So they was giving me all the smoke. You know what I'm saying? But a couple people who did. LaCory, Mario called me. And he was at a party, and I got on him and LaCour. So I'm giving credit when credit is due. Them people called me and they talk trash, but them are the people who actually picked up the phone. But there was a lot of people who was ghost, who didn't like nothing, who was high.
What was Siobhan?
Huh?
What was Siobhan? So serious.
Yeah. What? Now she logged off.
I ain't seen, boy. She logged off for real. I ain't seen her no more.
Yeah, I know, but I just want to give credit for the people. There was too many to name because so many people was in my inbox. Carnell, there's just so many people just assaulting me. But when I try to return the call, it seemed like my bat signal just could not shine. They were busting the light out every time I tried to put my bat signal up. So I just wanted to call them out on this. Thank y'all.
All right. Well, listen, you have seen us for another week. The Black Super Friends will be out here. And I definitely will put that clip together for you tomorrow, DeMario. but you can have your vengeance upon thee. And I want to say, Chris, I'm sorry. Xavier participated in the latest reel.
Yeah, that wasn't cute. That wasn't cute at all, man. And that little evil grin Zay had, that pissed me off the most. I expected this level of pettydism from Horace, but Zay, you really cried.
So listen, let me shine some light on that clip, right? So he was over there making it, and then he shined it on me, and I was like, yeah, this is good. that was. I was like, this is good. By the next one, I was like, you boy, you. I knew. But you knew it because you called me and you talked to me about this food gold thing. And by the last one, I was like, you're right, Chris. You was right. You said it. But y'all did good. It was a good run. Y'all got further than we did. We're going to see you next season.
Every season they say that. All right. Hey, we'll see you, Black Super Friends, later on.